Hello everyone, this is Janice, and today I want to show, I'll do a little bit about the melting pot and our molds. I got this mold from Robin. She found it at TJ Maxx, no, Marshall's. And she also found one that is paisley shaped. And then my new friend Michelle, the Crafty RN, that's her YouTube channel, she went to IKEA and she thought of me and she sent me 2 molds. And so I'm going to see if we could just do a little bit of playing around, and maybe you don't have a melting pot and you were wondering how it works, and so I'll tell you a little bit about that. But I want to show you how I made this. Okay, I made this with the square one. These squares happen to be 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. That is the size of this entire opening right here. But because it's a beveled edge here, I was able to get kind of like 2 for 1. All right, and I did a few things. I did a few things to play around. The first thing I made was this. Okay, now the UT itself, when you first melt it, if you use it right away, it's clear like this. Okay, as it cooks in there, if you take a long time, it does change color. And I don't know if you can tell the difference, but see how this one, there's a difference in the coloring. And finally, there's this one, okay? This was all the same batch of UT. So just that's something that you need to keep in mind. It doesn't bother me because I think that adds kind of a neat, like, antique-y look to it. But I really like it clear. So when I know that I really want it to be a kind of a crisp color of clear glass, I mean, it looks like old-fashioned glass to me. You know, back in the day, the glass wasn't all smooth. So back in the day, I'm talking way back, before any of us were born. If you go to those historic places and you look at the glass, it's always got like a rippling. So anyway, just wanted to share that little tidbit of information. So what I did when I was playing was I took a little square that I cut with my paper trimmer at 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and I did a little bit of stamping. I got these stamps. Oh, it's been quite a few months now. Oh man, I should have wrote on the back of this. Now I messed this up. Okay, well, I got an extra one here. This is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So, a while back at Joann's, I found this stamp right here. I don't know if they still have it. It was weird because it wasn't even springtime yet. I think it was probably December or January when I found it. And I love it because it's this whole just blacked out image. They had some at Michael's recently too, in the Ditto section, that were just silhouettes basically. So it's just this neat silhouette of tulips, and I absolutely love tulips. Let's see. Okay. So anyway, what I did was I used my Jenny Olin ink. As much as I try to prepare ahead of time, I'm never really prepared. Okay, now let me just tell you another tip, okay, that I've learned from doing this for a while is when you buy these cheap stamps, you know, those dollar stamps, the ink tends to pool on top and you don't get a very nice image, you know, and you could kind of just count it as just a bonus. It's just a different look. But if you want to improve on that, something that I've learned is if you take one of these sanding blocks and you just very gently, I mean, you don't have to go ahead and, you know, sand the whole image off. I mean, that would probably take forever to do anyway, but you just kind of sand it. It gives the ink somewhere to hold on to. Okay, it makes it rough. Okay, something else that people have suggested, and I don't really do this one, but I've seen this suggested, that you take a pencil eraser and go over it. And I'm not going to sit here and do the whole thing, but we'll see how that works. I'm just going to do like a test. Okay? Alright. this and just clean it off, you know, so you don't have those little particles on there. And what I did was I just stamped the lighter color first, in this case being lemon drops, and just tried to just get the tulips. Okay, and just have a piece of foam here to stamp on. And then this one is Jenny Boland's seed packet, and just trying to get just the leaves, but if you get a little bit on the tulips, it just looks kind of neat anyway. Okay, and this is going to go over the edges of this little block. He's in his room working, cleaning up his Legos. I'm doing a video real quick here. So then we're going to stamp right here and just push it down. Okay, and so see that? Isn't that sweet? Okay, and then you could stamp a little tiny sentiment on there if you're making a card. I'm not going to do that for the sake of the video. So I just want to show you what I did. I wanted to show Robin too what I did with, you know, the gift that she got me. So we're going to put this in here. I want you to see that because it is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, it's just sitting, basically it's sitting right there. It's not going all the way down into the bevel. Alright, and then all we're wanting to do is coat the surface of the image. Okay, so let's look at the melting pot. It's already preheated. When you get your melting pot, you preheat it first. You put it on UT, put the dial on UT, and you just turn it on and you let it heat up till this heating light goes off. It'll be red and then it'll go off when it's fully preheated. Now I did have some UT in here already, so you'll see that it's looks like it's burning. Okay, so that means I'm gonna have a little bit of golden color. Let me get my UT here. This is what you're looking for at Joann's. I find it hard to find them at Joann's. When they restock, they don't bring a whole bunch in. They just bring like 2 or 3 and then they're gone fast. So you know, if you can find it online, it's probably a faster way, you know, if you're wanting to get it right away. But anyway, they do carry this. And Joann's, I don't know if Joann's carries it. I know Hobby Lobby does. So all you do is just kind of put some in there, and we're gonna do a few things here. So I'm gonna put that much, and you just learn about how much to put in just from experience. If you just want to try a little bit, just so you get your handle on what you're doing. You don't need to get in there and start stirring, because I know, you know, it's like cooking, you know, you just want to go ahead and stir stuff, you know. You don't have to do that, because the more you stir it, the more bubbles you get in it, and maybe sometimes that's what you want. Maybe you want bubbles. It just depends. So if you were doing, say, another idea that's coming to mind now is if it was a little fish in here and I wanted to look bubbly, then I could stir it up and then pour it, and then you would get little bubbles in there. If you get bubbles and you didn't want bubbles, all you do is you take your heat tool and you wave it, wand it over it, and then you'll see this start to open up, like, looks like volcanoes opening up, and you just keep doing it until it gets smooth. And some of it might spill over the sides, and that's okay, because once it cools you can cut it off and then heat it again just a little bit till it's soft, you know, the sides kind of soften. And this is all stuff I've learned just from playing around, okay? Alright, so we've got this nearly melted. I'm not gonna stir it. I'm gonna resist the urge. It's melted. Now see how this light came on? Because as soon as I open this top, the temperature inside changes. It's not as hot. So it's heating up again. So no big deal. It's really very, very easy. The one thing you want to know is that it is very hot. I've burned myself, So you don't want to let little children use this. So I just don't want anybody to get hurt. I'm just a protector. I don't like anybody getting hurt. So alright, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to pour this in here. And you see it just is nice and melty, and you just kind of watch what you're doing in there and just kind of lift it up, and then you can kind of move it a little bit to get any areas that have not been covered, and then leave it alone. Okay, it doesn't take that long to, there's still a little bit of the paper not coated, so I'm just gonna coat it a little bit. Now because I did that, because I tipped it, it'll have little sides on the sides. Now I lift it up that I can just trim, and the sooner you trim it, you know, like not right away when you take it out, you'll feel it on your fingers that it is hot, and some people are more sensitive than others to heat. I'm pretty resilient. So you know, if I've burned myself, it was mad hot. So you know, just you can feel it. I mean, when you feel the sides of this silicone, you'll feel that it's really hot. This is basically a ice cube tray, and once you've used it for this, just in case you didn't know, you don't want to use it for food once you've used it for crafting. So if you like it and you think, oh, I would love to have ice cubes like that, go and get a separate one for food. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try this one out too. I'm going to try this one out last because I want to add some coloring to turn this paisley into, I want to turn them into leaves for, say, you know, I might cut out some flowers or something on my Cricut and I want to add some cute little leaves to it. We can do that. Okay, so we're going to check on this in a moment. Let me show you these. These are also ice cube trays. These came from IKEA. Again, Michelle, the Crafty RN, was sweet enough to think of me when she was there, and she bought me this flower one. So I wanted to go ahead and try this one. And we'll just bring this over again because we're waiting for that other one to cool. And you can go as deep or as shallow as you want. You're going to get a different look depending on how deep you go. And then there's this one, which I'm thinking ocean. I think I'm going to use this on a beach page or on a beachy card. And you can use, I'm running out here, so I bought a set of these at Walmart, just in their kitchen department, and it's silicone, so it's good to use in here. I think I got 3 in the set, or maybe 2, I don't remember now, but it was a really good price. However, I think this melting pot now comes with a tool included, so I don't know. Mine did not come with anything except for the lid. Oh, did you see that? I flung a little bit of it. And I'm just kind of trying to use this up. I'm going to see if I can do what happens if I just do a tiny bit one. Little tiny one over here. Oh, I don't think anything is going to happen with that one. Okay. And so this stuff dries pretty quickly. That's one of the things I love about it, is that it's instant gratification. Now, if I wanted to clean this out, say if I was using color in here, and once it's empty like this, is the time where you would take a paper towel and very carefully wipe it down with a paper towel. You hear that? That's my timer to let my son know that 15 minutes have gone by. I give him a certain time and then I go and see how well he's done on his cleaning up. He is a Lego engineer and oh my, he makes such a mess, so we have to direct him cleaning up because it can get overwhelming otherwise. Alright, so my husband's in there with him, so that's taken care of. Okay, so I'm going to pop this out and I'm just going to kind of stick my finger underneath here and just kind of lift it up so I can grab it. And look, don't you love it? And it's got, you know, a little, see how that's raised there? So all I'm going to do is kind of cut that piece off a little bit, and then I'm gonna, you can save those pieces and remelt them. They're flying all over the place right now. Okay, so now I love how that turned out. Love it, love it, love it. So now I'm going to take my heat tool and I'm just going to smooth these little sides out. And just kind of watch for any changes. I like to get down here close to it. Let's see if I can zoom in. I'm trying to move the camera while I do this. Kind of zoom in a little bit. Okay, so it's kind of smoothing out now, so I'm gonna move, because if it heats up a lot in one area, then it starts to pool again, and then you just have to do the whole thing again. Not the whole project, but, you know, cut off a piece, you know, which is fine. It's really fun. So I don't know if you can see a little crater opened up there, so that's where, and see how it's getting, there's like little places in here where there's some holes that opened up. You can just leave it like that, or you can just keep going depending on what look you want. Now I took another, I was just playing around and I thought, well, what would happen if I just poured this into the mold and then let it cool and ended up with just a plain little square of UT. And then I heated it again like I just did, and then I stuck the paper on top. Now I obviously did not heat it very well because this paper here is actually buckled on here, but this is one that I did using that method. I mean, I could, you know, keep trying and perfect it a little bit more. I don't know what would happen if I just heated the back of this. I didn't try that yet. Try not to do it near this one so we don't melt it. But this is what I do sometimes. I just play around and see what happens. Okay, keep in mind it's hot, so just, okay, did it stick? Okay, so now it's not as beveled. The paper isn't, but you know what, I don't think it's gonna stick. I would have to kind of do it a little bit longer. We'll see. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so here's my piece. All right, and I'm gonna use that on a card. That might be the next video. I don't want to confuse everybody. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move on to, oh, let's see what happened here. Let's take this out. Maybe we'll do the colored one as a separate video, so this doesn't end up so long. I'm going to pop this out, and there's the little flower. Oh my goodness, is that not cute? That is so sweet. It looks like a gummy candy. And then here is the starfish. That one is kind of crazy looking, so we'll just reuse that. And there's another little piece here. Just gonna, okay, that's nice. But see, these little extra pieces, we can just snip those off. You don't even have to, you know, throw those out. We can remelt them, like I said before. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? That would make a great little necklace too. You know, I could put a bail on the back, those that you can get in the jewelry department at Michael's or Joann's, and then you can hang that off of a cord, and you'll have a pretty one-of-a-kind necklace. And we can add glitter to it. You could probably paint it with the paint dabbers. It's quite thick. I don't know about putting it on a scrapbook page or a card, but if you're hand delivering it, that wouldn't be a big deal. So we'll see. We'll come up with some fun little projects. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that this was helpful. Please ask me anything. If you have something that you would like to see, just let me know, and I can try to make time to, you know, to make a video response of your question. And this is not, see, it's not adhered right here, so I would probably just keep trying to heat it, but I really like it. This was poured over it, and this one turned out thin because I didn't put as much, so see how thin that one is, as opposed to this one is pretty thick. And this one turned out, is that paper one? Yeah. And there's one that I poured also, and that one was the 1.5 by 1.5 piece of paper. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so thanks for watching, and thank you, Robin, and thank you, Michelle, for your gifts. You guys are awesome. Bye.